left on a frontera in the south of Spain, in the region of Andalusia. Oh, and down! That's the Ducati that he's down. It's Forrest who's down, and Giuliano as well. Lowe's is down into the Ponds corner. Lowe's out of fourth place. Davies up the inside. Kawasaki, manufacturer's champion for the second year in a row. Chaz Davies, it's victory number 8 of the season. This is it then, take a deep breath. It's go in race 2 at Jerez. Out goes the MV Agusta. Forrest looks over his shoulder. Yes, I'm here, says Jordi Torres. Brilliant manoeuvre from Jordi Torres. The riders' fight goes to Qatar. Davies is utterly unstoppable in Spain.
Final round of the 2016 Motul FIM Superbike World Championship sees the riders arrive in Qatar to do battle around the spectacular floodlit Losail International Circuit close to the Qatari capital of Doha. World Superbikes first visited Qatar in 2005 and we've been racing under the floodlights here since 2014. That was the year that saw Sylvain Guintoli wrap up the title for Aprilia. This time around, Jonathan Rea is in the driving seat and could seal the title in race 1. So it's an evening schedule for the practices, qualifying and races this weekend. Rea is in a commanding position with 2 races to go. 48-point lead over Sykes mean he could wrap up the title in the first race on Saturday. As the World Superbike riders took to the track for the final Tissot Superpole session of the season, Jonathan Rea took pole position as he inched ever closer to his second World Championship win. Honda World Superbike teams Nicky Hayden showed incredible pace in the final minutes of the session and took second on the grid. Chaz Davies wasn't quite able to translate his Friday night pace on race tyres into the qualifying session, but was able to lock out the front row of the grid in third. Davies has been in superb form in the latter stages of the season and will be looking for more race wins on Saturday and Sunday. Yamaha's Sylvain Guintoli ended up in 4th place on the grid, and the 2014 champion will be aiming for a strong finish to a difficult year. Tom Sykes qualified in 5th, sandwiched between Guintoli and the Frenchman's Yamaha colleague Alex Lowe's, who was 6th fastest. Barney Racing Team Xavi Forrest qualified 7th, ahead of Yoda Racing Team's Lorenzo Savadori in 8th place. Let's hear from the man on pole position.
Jonathan Rea, you celebrated that pole position like it was a race win. What means more for you, the pole or Tom being 5th on the grid?
No, definitely not. It's not. That's not a good way to put it. I mean, of course, I'm not happy that Tom's back there. Wasn't a thought in my mind, to be honest. And to be honest, I'm really willing him on to be 2nd in the championship because it really helps the team. We've made a huge team effort developing this bike in its first year. So, you know, I wish him the best. But the lap for me felt really good. That's why I was so excited. And I'm not a pole guy. The last pole I had was in the wet in Magnicur, and the one before that was, I can't remember when, long time ago. So to make a pole position in the dries means a lot, and it's a nice way to go into the race. You know, this race is going to mean a lot to me to try and get our target at the start of the year done. But it's a nice way to start off with a pole position, and I get a nice shiny new watch as well. So all the better.
Join us again after the break for race 1. So a brand new Tissot watch for the world champion Jonathan Rea. Time for a quick signature. And then it's down to the serious business of race 1, where Rea will look to retain the title he won last year. Over to Greg and Steve for race commentary.
If Tom Sykes is going to win this World Championship, he needs to win both of the races this weekend, with Jonathan Rea scoring no more than 1/15th place. But it's Rea on pole position from Nicky Hayden and Chaz Davies. Guintoli, Sykes and Lowe's is row 2. Xavi Forés was on the front row last year, 7th this from Savadori and Van der Mark, his last ride this weekend for Honda. Then it's Torres, Giuliano and Leon Camia. Raffaele De Rosa is riding a 3rd Altea BMW here. Then it's Brooks and De Angelis. Leon Haslam, welcome back on a Pedicini Kawasaki from Reiterberger and Carol Abraham, who's off to MotoGP again next year. Ramos Al Salaiti at home in Qatar from Scassa, Vizziolo, Skopek and Schmitter. All on his own at the back, Peter Sebastian. There are the new starting lights in front of Jonathan Rea. They'll be switched on for between 2 and 5 seconds. Look to the top left of the screen. Is Jonathan Rea about to make history here in Qatar? It is gone! They're away well. Brilliant start for Rea. Brilliant start also for Nicky Hayden. And unlike last year, they're all away well on the run down to turn 1. Davis is up the inside, and Chaz Davies on the red Ducati takes the lead. Hayden's past Rea as well, and Sykes has made a fantastic start. He's up from 5th to 4th, and he's right behind Jonathan Rea. This is Tom Sykes' opportunity, but Rea now sweeps back around the outside of the white Honda of Nicky Hayden. So it's Davis from Rea, then Nicky Hayden. Tom Sykes has done what he needed to do, which is take a position, but he's got to take Hayden as well now. Tom Sykes needs to fight through to the front as quickly as possible. As for Rea, he's looking very good for the title, Steve.
Ideal start for Jonathan Rea. Into 2nd position, in a strong position as well, just to be able to attack or defend. But you can see Chaz Davies out in front, and we know Davis has got strong race pace. But great start down the field for Leon Haslam. You can see it there on the timing screen at the bottom. Haslam up to 11th from 16th on the grid. Lorenzo Savadori ran off the track at turn 5 as well. He's managed to rejoin, but he's well down the order. Michael van der Mark made a bad start. He's down to 17th. But it's all about what's happening at the front, with Chaz Davies leading the way. As you said, Greg, Nicky Hayden able to convert 2nd on the grid. Good start from Hayden. He's down to 3rd now. But the key question is, can this man, Tom Sykes, on the 66 green Kawasaki, manage to get through to the front? He needs to get through to the front and at least put some pressure on Jonathan Rea.
Torres so confident here. In the meantime, Savadori, who went off on the first lap, is fighting his way back through the field. Savadori has just passed not only Al Salaiti but Vizziolo as well. He's up into 18th, and something's happened to Davide Giuliano, because he's fallen all the way down into 20th position on the 2nd of the red Aruba Ducatis. And also Josh Brooks has been off on this lap and lost 4 places, dropped down to 17th. He went off in sector 1. Look at this, lap 3. This is not what Tom Sykes needs. Sylvain Guintoli is on the attack. He's up the inside of turn 1, and he is through to 4th. Tom Sykes needs to win this race, never mind be 5th.
Yeah, it's not what Tom Sykes needs, not what I expected as well. We haven't seen that Yamaha make too many moves in the straight line this year, but Guintoli able to get through on Sykes, and now can he close that gap on Nicky Hayden? But as you say, Greg, Tom Sykes now down to 5th, and already fallen 2.5 seconds behind the race leader. He needs to win this race to have any chance at the championship. Haslam's managed to get through on Lowe's for 8th as well. Yesterday, Rea said that the Kawasaki was struggling in terms of top end and ultimate straight line speed. He said the Ducati had a bit of an edge, and even just trying to make a move under braking on Chaz Davies is always a difficulty. He brakes in really late, really deep into the corner, and it's always been one of Davies' strengths. But you can see behind Jonathan Rea, the gap to Nicky Hayden right now is 1.5 seconds. Hayden's pulled in a couple of tenths over the last few sectors, but maybe we'll see with Davis and Rea starting to fight with one another that Guintoli and Hayden start to move towards the front. You can see Guintoli's managed to open up a bit of a gap towards Tom Sykes. Right now it's at 0.7 of a second, and he's just closed that gap on Nicky Hayden by half a second. So Guintoli really is the man on the move here. We know he loves this track. We know he's gone well here in the past, and he's really fighting down for that podium spot now as well.
Guintoli now, Steve, in the background. He's right up behind Nicky Hayden. In fact, he's passing Nicky Hayden. In fact, he's in front of Nicky Hayden. Yamaha are on for their first podium of the season.
Yeah, great stuff from Guintoli to get through there. We know the Yamaha's got a new exhaust as well for this weekend. Maybe that's just giving them a little bit more in terms of top end, but Guintoli manages to get through on Hayden. This is the best we've seen from Guintoli this season, and into those podium places as well on the Yamaha. Great stuff from Guintoli, and you can see Tom Sykes in the background. And the key thing is going to be whether or not Sykes is able just to start closing that ground on Nicky Hayden. See when the tyres start to go off. We're just coming up towards half distance, and Nicky Hayden didn't really sound too confident about being able to have strong race pace whenever I talked to him after Superpole. So maybe Sykes will start to close that gap on Hayden. But as we said, being able to challenge at the front and try and put some pressure on his teammate doesn't look like it's going to happen for Tom Sykes. So we really just have to see whether or not he's able to even fight to try and get back onto the podium against Hayden and Guintoli now.
Is Jonathan Rea, in just 9 laps from now, going to confirm what would be a 57-point lead at the moment over this man Tom Sykes and win the World Championship for the 2nd year in a row? This man needs to win this race to win the World Championship, and he needs Rea practically outside the points. At the moment, it's not looking good at all. He's 1.4 seconds behind Hayden and now 7 seconds behind the leaders. And Steve, the least he can do is catch Hayden and Guintoli and pass them, and then hope that something happens to the two at the front. Meanwhile, 10 seconds down the road, this is Forres, Torres and Lowe's. Ducati, BMW and Yamaha, they're fighting for 6th, 7th and 8th.
Yeah, Forres has been really strong all weekend, Greg. 3rd fastest yesterday, ended up 7th on the grid, running in 6th now on the Barney Ducati. And again, another performance, another weekend where we've seen him really step forward and score consistent points. When you look at Davide Giuliano in 15th position, scoring 1 point, it really is in stark contrast to what we're seeing from Xavi Forres again this year during yesterday's race. And you can see Davide Giuliano last weekend as a factory Ducati rider, and about to come back into pits.
Well, dear oh dear, this just about sums up Davide Giuliano's 2016 campaign, doesn't it? In to retire from a race for the 5th time this year is Davide Giuliano, and that is our first retirement of the evening here in Qatar. Look at this, still going on, what a scrap. Forres, Barney Ducati, Torres, Altea BMW, Lowe's, Pata Yamaha run by Crescent, right together through the kink of 8, down through 9 and into 10. They are right with each other.
Yeah, what's interesting in this is last time around, Lowe's actually lost half a second to the guys in front, but able to instantly make that back. He probably has more potential pace than these guys, but it's that question of can he make a move and actually get through on them, and that's the big challenge. The Yamaha has a difficult bike to actually make overtaking moves on, because we've seen all the way through this season it's really strong in these kind of sections of the track where you have to carry that corner speed. It's nice and progressive on the gas, but it's difficult to actually make moves on it, and this could be the kind of issue that you're seeing from Lowe's now. We saw Sylvain Guintoli make a couple of moves on the pit straight, but we'll see if Lowe's is able to do the same. As Chaz Davies comes across the line again, the lead is extended once again. It was 1.4 seconds at the end of the previous sector. It's now extended out to 1.7 seconds, and Davis 0.8 of a second faster. Jonathan Rea probably thinking there in terms of, well, I'll just settle for second, take that championship. I don't have quite enough pace to be able to challenge Chaz Davies. Davis thinking in terms of, I'll take the race win.
Tom Sykes has put up a fight. He's won 5 times this year, but in the end it's just not going to be enough, and the challenge tomorrow will then be, as you've already said, Steve, to try and fend off Davis for second in the championship. And with the current form here, it looks likely that Davis could finish second for the 2nd year in a row. Look at this. This is Haslam, Camia, De Rosa, Savadori and De Angelis. This is remarkable. This is 10th all the way down to 14th position.
Yeah, and we saw Camille take 0.6 of a second out of Haslam last time around. The gap was about 2 seconds only a couple of laps ago, so understandably for Leon, just struggling a little bit now in the closing stages. Doesn't have as much data as these guys, obviously. Doesn't have as much experience on this bike with these electronics as the rest of this field. So understandable in the closing stages of a race where everyone expected tyre wear, that Haslam is just losing a little bit of ground there. But Camille trying to put him under pressure and get into the top 10. You can see Salvadori, who ran off on the opening lap, now able to recover and get himself through under Rosa and into 12th position.
As you can see, De Rosa fastest through the speed trap at nearly 200 miles an hour down the end of the start finish straight, but in the twisty stuff is struggling, and these are the two latest champions of the European Superstock 1000 Cup battling with each other, and it's the 2015 champion Salvadori ahead of the 2016 champion Raffaele De Rosa. Look at De Rosa on the number 35 black and white BMW. Oh, there's an incident ahead. That's Camia. Camia is down at turn 10. Leon Camia on the MV sparks into the gravel trap. Here's Sylvain Guintoli. Well, it looks as though Yamaha, after such a difficult season, Steve, are actually going to finish on the podium. But in the background, Hayden's losing all sorts of time. He was 3/10 slower than Sykes on that last lap, and Tom Sykes is now right up behind Nicky Hayden. Here's the white Honda. Look on the right of the screen. There's the green Kawasaki. He's right behind him, and this is the fight for fourth.
And probably in sector 4 is where we're going to see Tom Sykes really make that time up on Nicky Hayden as well. We saw in qualifying, Nicky Hayden was actually really strong in that final sector with the Q tyre.
We are into the last lap of the penultimate World Superbike race of the 2016 season. Tom Sykes up the inside of Nicky Hayden. This is the fight for fourth. Sykes is through, but it's not enough.
And Hayden just doesn't have the bike to be able to defend against that move from Tom Sykes. Hayden, of course, in Parc Ferme after Superpole did say that he felt that the Q tyre gave him the chance to qualify in the front row, but it was going to be a difficult race for him. Finishing in the top 5 would be a good result for Hayden, and as you say, Greg, the penultimate race of his rookie season in World Superbikes, and on the verge of a top 5 finish again for Nicky Hayden.
Thank you again, it says on the pit board. They've already won the manufacturer's title, they've already won the team's title, but in just a few moments' time, Jonathan Rea is going to be joining Merkel, Poland, Corsa, Edwards, Toseland, Biaggi, Bayliss and Fogarty to have won at least 2 World Superbike titles.
And Rea's crew chief, Perariba, said that if Jonathan doesn't win the championship, it'd be a crying shame. He's the best rider in the world this year. He's been the most consistent. And within the next 2 corners, Jonathan Rea should win that championship.
Chaz Davies is going to pick up the 10th win of the season. He will have won more races than Jonathan Rea. Here comes the Ducati. Every dry race since the summer break has been won by Chaz Davies. Well done, Ducati. You win in Qatar. And Jonathan Rea finishes second. History is made at Losail because Jonathan Rea is the 2016 Motul FIM Superbike World Championship. He's done it back-to-back for the first time since Fogarty in 98 and 99.
So Jonathan Rea is the 2016 World Superbike World Champion. Let's look back over some of the highlights that brought the Northern Irishman his second title in 2 years. So behind Davis, Rea and Guintoli on the podium, it's Sykes, Hayden, Forres, Lowe's, Torres and Van der Mark. Also in the top 10. Let's hear from the podium finishers.
Sylvain Guintoli, it's been a difficult year for Yamaha, but a great way to start off the final rounds of the season with the first podium of the year.
Yeah, well, it's been a difficult year, especially for me, being in hospital quite a bit and recovering for most of the year. So since I got back, we have built back the rhythm and the speed. Here today, I felt like the riding was really good. I really enjoyed myself, and we managed to get the tires to the end. So it was good. It was a good race, good work, and yeah, you know, after this year, the first podium for the return of Yamaha as well. It's symbolic and it's really important for me.
Well done, Sylvain. Jonathan Rea, congratulations on second championship. But how does today compare to last year in Jerez?
It's honestly more special in different ways because this championship last year, the championship just happened as a result of having such an amazing rhythm during the year. wasn't easy, but just happened naturally. So I never thought this championship feels like I really had to work hard for. I had to really win this championship. So it's different. I just want to thank everybody in my corner, the team, KHI, my family, all my mechanics, all my fans out there that have been supporting me through the tough moments of the season. I take so much confidence from this year because this 2016 ZX-10R is like my son. It's the first year, and I'm so proud to give Kawasaki the World Championship in the first year of a new bike. So it bodes well for next season. We have a lot of development to do in the winter time, but over not 25 races, but over a 26 race series, we've demonstrated how strong we are. So I'm very, very happy.
Thanks, Johnny. Well done. Chaz Davies, a 10th win of the season, and another really strong performance as well in the dominant win.
Yeah, it was not without the pressure there from Johnny. I think he was getting after it there in the early laps, and our pace was mega. Low 57s, 57, 57. It's pretty quick around here on a superbike. So I was really surprised at that, and also not entirely sure how the last laps are going to play out. That sort of pace early can have that knock-on effect with the tyres. But anyway, brought it home, and was watching my gap to Johnny. I could see it was at 0.4, 0.3, 0.5, edging around there and not really going anywhere. And then I squeezed it a little bit more and tried to see if I get the last drops out of it, and managed to just start breaking away. But very, very good, very happy, and we'll see if we can repeat again tomorrow.
Thanks, Chaz. Well done.
Thank you.
So while Davies celebrates another victory, Ray celebrates a second world title. We will be back after the break for race 2. So welcome back to the Losail International Circuit, where on Saturday there was more brilliance from Davies, whilst Jonathan Ray confirmed the 2016 world title. And so the pressure is off Ray. The runner-up spot in the championship between Sykes and Davies is still up for grabs. Plenty more action still to come on Sunday.
Here we go then for the last time this year. Ray, Hayden and Davies was the front row, but Nicky Hayden's had to go on to an 8th engine, so he's starting from the pit lane. Guintoli, Sykes and Lowe's is row 2, and don't forget, Sylvain Guintoli did finish on the podium here last night. Xavi Forres will start 7th and head up row 3 from Savadori and Van der Mark. Then we've got Torres. Giuliano had qualified 11th, but he's ruled out of action with the shoulder injury. So Camilla moves at 1. De Rosa now, who scored points last night for Altea. 3 of those BMWs in the field this weekend, starts 12th. Brooks, De Angelis and Leon Haslam is row 5. Then it's Reiterberger, Abraham and Roman Ramos. And as we move towards the back of the field, it's Saeed Al-Salaiti for Qatar, Scasser, Vizziello, Skopik, Schmitter and Peter Sebastian. Race 26 of 26, the last race of 2016 is underway in Qatar. Another magnificent start by the world champion. And look at the Ducati of Chaz Davies. He's side by side again as they get down to turn 1. Have some of that. Davies for the second night in a row is through, but this time he's running slightly wide and off. 2 of them off. Savadori's one of them. Alex Lowe's is the other one. Michael van der Mark's very wide in the background as well. Look at this. Ray leads. Davies is second. Sylvain Guintoli's up to 3rd, and Tom Sykes is in that 4th position. So drama at the first corner, but it's clean at the front.
Yeah, and we saw Jonathan Ray make the good start off the line. Chaz Davies actually get ahead on the way into turn 1, but Jonathan Ray able to get back underneath and retake the lead. We saw Sylvain Guintoli make a really strong start, but Tom Sykes up to 4th, so taking advantage of Nicky Hayden not being on the grid there for Sykes. Let's see if he's able to really fight with Sylvain Guintoli, get past Guintoli, and then see if he can go with Chaz Davies and the race leader Jonathan Ray.
Now then, on board with Jonathan Rea. In the press conference last night, as they celebrated the title, he said we're going to try some new things with weight distribution tonight, and we're either going to win the race or we're going to finish 10th. Well, I don't think he was expecting to be down in 13th position and attacking Marcus Reiterberger. Here is a replay, Steve. The start of lap 2, Davies on the right, Jonathan Rea's clearly behind him. Rear wheel was very slightly off the ground, struggled to get it slowed down there, and sails on down at turn 1, back on, a bit like what Marc Marquez did at the start of the MotoGP season last year. Oh, and a fire now for Saeed Al Salaiti. That is not the way he wanted the season to end, and he's absolutely furious. There's his assistant there, closest to the screen, Juan Manuel Frutos, the Spaniard, and out goes Saeed Al Salaiti, and he was just into the points as well. He would have picked up a point at home in Qatar. That's an enormous engine blow, a massive inferno, and I hope he hasn't dropped oil down on the track, down to turn 1. At least he's okay, but major disappointment. In fact, I can smell the smoke from the commentary box here. It must have blown up as he came down, and red flag, the race is stopped. There clearly is oil down. Oh my goodness, how many twists can this race possibly take? On lap 8 of 17, the track is obviously covered in oil down at turn 1, and the last World Superbike race of 2016 takes another twist. Saeed is out.
And you can see the grid for this race will be Sylvain Guintoli on the front row, Tom Sykes in the middle of the front row, and Chaz Davies on pole. And you can see in the background Leon Camier just taking his place at the back of the grid.
Torres, here we go again, and what's for Jonathan Rea from 9th on the grid. We are away for the second time on Sunday night in Qatar. Brilliant start, as we thought, for Chaz Davies. Sykes is side by side with Forres, and Rea is up the inside, and so is Leon Haslam. Haslam's made a great start. Rea's actually made a bit of a poor start. He's struggling. Rea's in the middle of the pack, but look at Leon Haslam.
Yeah, Haslam up to 3rd and from the start, and you can see Sylvain Guintoli down from 3rd, but down the inside of Jonathan Rea as well. Rea gets absolutely stood up there by Alex De Angelis as well. But now Jonathan Rea with all the work to do to try and get to the front. But it's Chaz Davies out in front from Tom Sykes and Leon Haslam in 3rd.
No respect at all for the new world champion there. Almost contacting with Alex De Angelis. Brilliant avoidance by Jonathan Rea.
Yeah, and Leon Camier actually up to 15th as well. So making up 4 or 5 places just from the opening corner as well from Camier on the MV Agusta. And you can see here at the front you've got Jonathan Rea now just trying to chase down for Sylvain Guintoli, but that's Alex De Angelis that's out. We saw Alex De Angelis get down the inside of Jonathan Rea, stand Jonathan Rea up in turn 2, but at turn 4 his race is over.
Look at this now, 2 best friends almost right together. Rea and Haslam almost touching as they come down into the right-hander of turn 4. Is he through? Yes, he is. KRT, Provet Kawasaki, passes Pedicini Kawasaki. And don't forget, as you say, Pedicini never on the podium. They've had a 4th place, and that was with Lucio Pedicini himself back at Phillip Island 16 years ago.
Yeah, and Rea and Haslam both started on the 3rd row, making a lot of progress, making 5 positions up in the opening lap. Nicky Hayden and Alex Lowe's also with good starts, so each of them making up 6 positions. You can see them at the top of the screen. Hayden into the top 10, into 9th.
Here's a replay. Look at this. 3 at Brest down into turn 1. Haslam on the right. Forres in the middle. He's all over the place, and he sails off at turn 1. Rea runs wide as well. On board with Jonathan Rea. Watch the big moment for Forres. Look at Forres on the left. Like Torvald and Dean. Skates off to the outside. We're going through, but now on the right, there's Leon Haslam. Thanks a lot. And somehow, after dropping from 3rd to 5th, comes out of the corner 3rd again. Remarkable stuff there for Leon Haslam. Rather quiet down here at Provic at the moment. All the riders on the other side of the track, but look at Sykes. He's right up behind Chaz Davies. In the background, by the way, an amazing battle going on. Guintoli's just past Haslam. The Yamaha is ahead of the Kawasaki. He's up into 4th. De Rosa is 6th. Forres is 7th. They're all locked together. Torres is now just past Michael van der Mark. You see the red 8 on the left-hand side of your screen for that update. Hayden is 10th. Now then, this is where Rea nearly hit Sykes last year. Again, he's not through. We know how strong Sykes is, don't we? Under braking. We saw him overstressing the rear brake again on Friday evening here. Up to the right-hander at turn 7. Feathering the throttle. Jonathan Rea's new world champion crash helmet bearing down on us. It's gold now as opposed to red and white for the Northern Irish flag. Is he going to try a dive up the inside of the next corner, turn 10? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He most certainly is. Oh, they're very, very tight again. And this time he's closed it off. He's through.
Greg, we talked to each other earlier on about whether or not Jonathan Rea would potentially let his teammate through just so that Tom Sykes is able to finish second. We've seen some pretty hard riding here from Rea, and no real indication that he's willing to help his teammate. But it'll be interesting just to keep an eye on what happens between those two for the rest of the race.
Now, there's different ways of looking at this. Some will be saying Sylvain Guintoli is almost on the grass coming down the pit straight, right up against the white line, and Haslam now coming under pressure from De Rosa. Some might argue that Sykes should have let Ray go earlier when they were closer to Chaz Davies, and it might have allowed Sykes to get back in on the axe. Then again, of course, if Ray hadn't passed Sykes anyway, Sykes still would have finished second in the championship. Here's a replay of the move out of the right-hander down into the left at the very heavy braking zone of 10. A very clean move. It was a hard but fair move, giving each other the utmost respect, as to be fair we've seen all season long. Looking back from Sykes, there goes Jonathan Ray up the inside line, and it is Ray second now with 5 laps to go. Here's Nicky Hayden, and considering he started from the pit lane, this is going all right. And at the moment then, he will have finished more races ahead of Michael van der Mark this year than van der Mark ahead of him. But van der Mark's right behind him on the track. They're 9th and 10th.
Yeah, potentially finish ahead of van der Mark in more races, but van der Mark's going to finish ahead of him in the championship. And this, as we said earlier, Greg, Michael van der Mark's final race with the Ducati squad. He's come through the Stock 600 Championship, he's come through the Supersport Championship, and this is the end of his second season in World Superbikes. But you can see here, Chaz Davies, Jonathan Ray, that gap again, down by another quarter of a second so far this lap. Jonathan Ray really looking aggressive, really looking fast, and able to bridge that gap towards Chaz Davies.
Jonathan Ray has never won a World Superbike race here in Qatar. There's only 2 tracks on the current calendar where he's yet to win. One of them here, the other one is Jerez.
Last time around, there was only half a tenth of a second in, but you can see there, Jonathan Ray has given up a lot of ground to Chaz Davies there through that opening sector. Is he letting Tom Sykes through?
Yes, of course. We didn't think about that, did we? He's decided not to risk it. He's lost 1.5 seconds. Look, he's wheeling, he's celebrating. He's going to let him through then. He's going to let him through.
Is Tom Sykes going to accept this though, Greg? You can see Jonathan just looking over his shoulder, playing the team role here from Jonathan Ray.
Oh, well, would we have expected anything less? No, we never would have expected anything less. Abraham's
just seen that Karen Abrahams just crashed at turn 1 on the last lap of the season, but Chaz Davies is going to take the win, his 11th race win of the season. Incredibly impressive season from Davies. Just disappointing what happened to him in the middle of the season there for Chaz Davies, where he struggled. But you can see here, still, at the moment, as things stand, it's Chaz Davies, the race leader, who is going to finish second in the championship. Tom Sykes needs to get past on Jonathan Ray. Jonathan Ray obviously has eased off here just to get close to his teammate. But Tom Sykes not really making any effort here to actually make that move, but you can see just Jonathan Ray just cruising around now.
Watch that graphic as they cross the line, because Sykes will jump back up in front of Chaz Davies for second in the World Championship, as Jonathan Ray will stage a photo finish. This will be a lovely bit of PR for Kawasaki. It's already starting with the wheelie. Come through, Tom, come through. Out of the last corner, Chaz Davies will have won 11 races this year. Incredible. Ray allows Sykes through. It was Ray's decision. There were no team orders. Davies wins the last race of the season. Tom Sykes says thank you very much in a photo finish for second. Ray allowed him through. Sykes is the runner-up in the World Championship. And are we going to have a thank you from Tom Sykes to Jonathan Ray? I'm sure we will.
So a big winning margin for Davies as he rounds out the season with another victory. We're back after the break with all the reaction from Parc Ferme. Welcome back, and let's hear from the top 3 in the final race of 2016.
Jonathan Ray, you took advantage of the red flag just to put yourself back into the fight for the win, but good gesture as well just to Tom Sykes to let him finish second in the championship.
Honestly, I so lucky with the red flag, because I had a sensor problem and I felt so good with the bike. Even I was doing 38 lows with back shifting manually with my hand and blipping, so the red flag saved us. Starting from 9th, I was completely pumped to make a good race. When the pace was good, I felt really good on the bike, and then on the last lap I knew that barring a mistake from Chaz, there was nowhere really I could go through clean. So I played the clever game. I knew the maths, team player, and without team orders, speaking inside the team, just like gentlemen, I understood that it was more important for the big picture that we have a 1-2. So I'm very happy for myself because I've achieved my target. I'm happy with Kawasaki with a 1-2 in the championship. I think it's the first time. And happy for Tom also because he's been a key role in Kawasaki's success. So thanks to everybody, and looking forward now to go home and recharge my batteries for 2017. But I enjoyed that race, and it was like the championship was gone. I was going full gas like the old me, and I enjoyed it so much. Thank you very much.
That's great. Thanks, Johnny. Well done. A great year. Sounds like the red flag could have really affected things very badly for you, but able to finish second in the championship and another solid season from you.
Yeah, solid enough. Missed some pace, but let's focus on the race. And the red flag was sure difficult because I missed a lot of time on Friday with some brake problems and never really rode the bike to my 100% balance this weekend due to this problem. So suffered on front end, but what can I say, in race, in the first part, I was setting myself up for long distance, so I didn't push so hard in the beginning, and the target was to save the tyre, but in the restart, I knew we were a little bit in trouble because we've missed the pace all weekend, but I dug deep, we had good initial speed, but, you know, Jonathan pushed hard. I think he was going for the win, and I could see what was happening. He was closing Chaz down, but you know, Chaz was responding, so what can I say? Fantastic gesture by the other side of the garage to do this, you know, quite speechless, being a gentleman. I really appreciate this kind of this gesture. I'll remember it till I'm very old, and what can I say, you know, it's swings and roundabouts. We've lost championships in the past from team orders from other manufacturers, so to try and to have this and gift us second in the championship and ensure Kawasaki 1-2 with the riders and manufacturers, it's been a heck of a season for Kawasaki, not so bad for the riders. I've struggled a little bit with the engine this year, but we'll see, you know, nothing's easy, and we'll try and be stronger next year, but ultimately finish second to Jonathan this year is where we're at. He's been very consistent. We've been a lot stronger than last year, so hopefully we can make the same step again next year, but acceptable finish to you know, quite a good season, so happy for this. Chaz has been riding absolutely fantastic in the last few rounds, and he's the one to watch for the start of the lights next year.
Thanks, Tom. Well
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Chaz Davies, 11 race wins and an incredibly strong season, but how does it set you up for next year as well, and that chance to win the first title?
Yeah, well, firstly this year, I mean, taking all these on the bounce, 6 in a row, I think we've kind of proved a point. I've proved that you know, the Panigale is every bit as a championship sort of competitive package. That's what we knew it was when I signed a few years ago, and I proved to myself that I can win more than just one race at the odd track, and you know, we've had 11 wins, as you said, 6 in a row. Incredible. It's something special. You know, it's not easy to achieve one double, let alone 3 in a row. So no, big hats off to Ducati, all my team. They've done a fantastic job this year. Never stopped believing in me, and always, you know, looking for the kind of next level. And for next year, well, we'll see. Let's have a few months break, and I think this sets us up well, better than ever before. I think we know how to avoid our inconsistencies, and where we've come unstuck a bit this year, and we're rocking and rolling. So can we start 2017 tomorrow, please?
Well done, Chaz.
Thanks.
So good vibes all round on the podium. Davies delighted with his superb form at the end of this season. Ray, the world champion, and Sykes, the runner-up in the general standings. Confirmation of those final standings: Sykes 51 points behind Ray, Davies in third, 2 points back. The final World Supersport race of the season was an edge-of-the-seat thriller that saw Honda rider Kyle Smith come out victorious over Kawasaki's world champion Kenan Sofuoglu by just 0.06 of a second on the finish line. Frenchman Jules Cluzel of the MV Agusta Reparto Corsi team finished third to secure the overall runner-up spot in the 2016 FIM Supersport World Championship. Profile Racing's pole sitter Luke Stapleford and Sofuoglu took off side by side as the lights went out, but they got caught up in the first corner as Alex Baldolini shot away at the front. As the riders jostled 4 positions on the first lap, Stapleford was in the mix, whilst an intriguing battle for the championship runner-up spot between Cluzel, Randy Krumenacker and PJ Jacobsen would take shape as the race progressed, with Smith and Sofuoglu also playing their part in proceedings. Leicester rider Stapleford ran into trouble on turn 10, ending his race early. A disappointing end to what had been a good weekend for him. Spanish rider Xavier Pinsac also went down in the same incident as he lost control of his Honda CBR600RR. Baldolini continued to hold the lead in the early stages, but the Italian had a pack of riders breathing down his neck. The championship runner-up contenders Randy Krummenacher and Cluzel were busy battling and were quickly joined by Smith, who'd worked his way up from 5th on the grid. Huddersfield rider Smith had the quicker pace, and it wasn't long before he had overtaken Baldolini and began to pull away. Smith was the winner in Qatar last season, and he was determined to add another 2016 victory to his record, having also won the race at Assen earlier this season. Smith is undoubtedly a great talent, and he showed his pace under the floodlights around the spectacular 5.4-kilometre desert circuit. Cluzel was able to maintain his pace though and challenge for the lead, but Krummenacher could not, and the Swiss rider began to fall back through the order, fighting for 4th with his other rival for championship positions, Jacobsen of the Honda World Supersport team. Further down the order, Ayrton Badavini was riding well and went on to finish the race in 6th ahead of Zulfami Khairuddin, who was in 7th. Sofuoglu was on the march meanwhile and catching up with the riders in front of him. On the 6th lap, the lead group were battling hard for points and positions, with Smith in the lead, followed by Cluzel, Baldolini, Sofuoglu, Jacobsen and Krummenacher. Sofuoglu was briefly caught up behind the other riders, but it didn't take him long to begin his assault back towards the front. The 5-time world champion is a master of picking his moment and riding within his limits, only to pounce and go on the attack when required. Sofuoglu's ridden with control and poise throughout 2016, and that was the case again as he gradually worked his way through the lead group. Still, he had his work cut out in this race, and Smith was enjoying himself at the front, having built up over a 1-second lead over his nearest challenger. But with 3 laps to go, Sofuoglu hunted down Smith, who must have thought his chance of victory was under significant threat as the Kawasaki man got through and sought to get the hammer down. However, Smith would not let the Kawasaki rider get away and stayed on the tail of the world champion in an epic shootout for the win. A brilliant move by the determined Smith right at the death saw him retake the lead, and then it was a question of who would make it to the checkered flag first in a desperate sprint down the finish straight. The riders crossed the line side by side, with Smith taking the win by just 0.06 of a second, and Cluzel was not far behind in 3rd. Jacobsen ultimately won the battle with Krummenacher for 4th, while Krummenacher took 5th in the race and 3rd overall in the championship. Let's hear from an ecstatic race winner, Kyle Smith.
Kyle Smith, the 2nd win of the season, and you really had to sweat that one out.
I did have to sweat that one out, you know. I think anybody who wants to battle Kenan on the last lap has to sweat it out. But, you know, I've had the pace all weekend, and the bike's been feeling good. I enjoy this track a lot. I won here last year, and, you know, before going out, I was super nervous just because I think, you know, like I said, I won here last year, and the pace has been there. So I know I could do it, but obviously, you know, it has to be perfect to beat the best in the world. And, you know, just at one point in the race, I pulled a little gap, but Kenan caught me back up. And I just had to, you know, just concentrate so hard and not make no mistakes, and finally just beat him to the line by, I don't know how much, but it definitely wasn't that much.
That's great. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks.
Smiles all round in Parc Fermé and on the podium. Sofuoglu already confirmed as the world champion, while Cluzel moves up into the runner-up spot with that podium in Qatar. It's been another fantastic year of racing in World Superbikes, with plenty of thrills and spills, podiums, crashes, racing at full throttle in all conditions, and and some superb victories. Jonathan Rea was the master once again, but had to wait until the final round of the year to seal the defence of his title. Hope you've enjoyed the 2016 season, and we'll be back after the winter break for the first round of 2017 in February at Phillip Island in Australia.